Most people never build what they're capable of, not because they aren't intelligent enough, not because they don't work hard, and not because opportunity never shows up. They don't build it because they unknowingly repeat the same internal patterns year after year. And those patterns quietly dictate the ceiling of their life and their business. I'm Justin Kaiser, and I've spent the last 24 years building businesses, including building companies from scratch and scaling a franchise brand to over 100 franchise territories in just 3 years before an acquisition. After all of that experience across multiple industries and economic cycles, the biggest limiter I see is almost never strategy, it's identity. Most people assume their problems are external. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough clarity, not enough support, not enough certainty. But when you observe long enough, a pattern becomes obvious. Two people with similar intelligence, similar opportunity, and similar access end up with two completely different outcomes. The difference isn't effort, it's what they believe is normal for someone like them. Earl Nightingale said, "We become what we think about." Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Neville Goddard said, "You do not get what you want, you get what you assume to be true." Three different teachers, three different eras, but the same law. Your life and your business are not responding to your goals. They're responding to your assumptions. They're responding to the story that you quietly tell yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, and what kind of success feels reasonable. Most people live inside a loop they never consciously chose. They think familiar thoughts, they make familiar decisions, they take familiar actions, and they get familiar results. Even when they say they want more, they subconsciously protect what feels normal. Comfort disguises itself as logic. Fear disguises itself as responsibility. Limitation disguises itself as realism. Potential doesn't disappear, it gets postponed, sometimes for years, sometimes for decades. Usually under respectable sounding reasons like, "I'm being patient, I'm waiting for the right time," or "I just need a little more information." And before they realize it, life has passed without anything fundamentally changing. Here's the uncomfortable truth that most people avoid. You can't outperform the identity you operate from. You can work harder, study more, attend seminars, hire coaches, adopt better tactics. But if your self-image stays the same, your results will always snap back to a familiar range. That's why so many people experience progress followed by frustration, momentum followed by stagnation, breakthroughs that never quite stick. They hit the upper boundary of what feels safe and believable internally. This is also why people change and feel uncomfortable. You're not just changing habits or routines, you're challenging your identity. And the mind resists identity threats far more aggressively than it resists effort, failure, or discomfort. Napoleon Hill talked about definiteness of purpose, not as vague goals or motivational slogans, but as decision. The decision to define who you are becoming before the evidence shows up. Most people never make that decision. They wait to feel confident. They wait for clarity. They wait for certainty. And while they wait, life just quietly keeps reinforcing the old version of them. Neville Goddard taught that assumption creates reality. If you assume you're behind, life will constantly give you proof of that. If you assume growth requires struggle, resistance will always appear. If you assume success must be delayed, justified, or earned through exhaustion, you will subconsciously slow yourself down even when the opportunity is right in front of you. Breaking the pattern doesn't require motivation. Motivation is temporary, emotional, and unreliable. What it requires is identity discipline, the decision to act consistently as the person who already operates at that higher level. Not once, not occasionally, not when it feels good, but as a standard. This is why knowledge alone never changes lives. People already know what to do. They know the habits that would improve their health, their finances, their relationships, their business. What they don't believe is that they are the kind of person who does those things consistently. Repetition changes identity. Alignment changes identity. Decision changes identity. Every empire is built twice. First internally, then externally. You have to stop negotiating with the old version of yourself. You don't need more time, more information, or more permission. You need a higher standard for what you tolerate in your own thinking, your own excuses, and your own self-image. Because the moment you truly change the inner pattern, not intellectually, but behaviorally and consistently, the outer results begin to reorganize around it. And that's when you finally stop postponing your potential and you start building what you've always been capable of.